Alright, here we go. Let me get this figured out here. Okay. BCA-101 Day 16. This is Monday. Actually, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday already. Snowstorm coming Friday. Maybe. We'll see. Today, more hardware details. Go over those in a minute. Finish up the in-class spreadsheet. And then we're going to give time for the assignment, project, questions, work time, and so forth. Make sure you read the other people's comments on Drive, and it's by groups. I think there's 4 different groups, so there's like 3 or 4 students in each group. So discuss, read their comments, and then we'll talk a little more about it on Friday. We'll probably have a little bit of time. So I'll keep moving. Start off with, we talked about motherboard. Everything's connected on that motherboard through an electronic bus. Processor, we have memory, and today we talked about storage. 3 different methods. We talked about magnetic storage, magnetic bits. Got a platter and we put magnetic bits on there to represent a 1 or a 0. We have solid state. We don't go into the details of that, but that'd be like your flash drive and in your phone and so forth. We have hard drives that can be solid state. Can access very quickly, hold a lot of data. More expensive, and they have a life to them. But then again, all of these have a life somewhat. Optical, we burn. We have those DVDs, and we burn spots into them, so to speak. And that's pretty reliable. The spots either burnt in there or not. Over time, magnetic spots can deteriorate on a disc. Doesn't last forever. Just like VHS doesn't last forever. Yeah, that's true, right? VHS. Do you remember? Anybody know what that is? VHS tapes. You have those tape in there. Go in there and you put your movies and stuff on those. Yeah. If you have home movies or something on those, you should take those and burn them onto an optical disc. And then put this in your safe for safekeeping. Alright. Now, just to review something like down here we have software and we have data. So your software gets loaded into memory. What's loaded in there first? The OS. And then you can load some software app. I'll make that in red too. Some app. It has instructions, and those instructions then go up to the processor, into registers, they're processed, and we send information back. Right? You can have data in here, what you're actually working on, and so forth. We're going to keep reviewing that as we move on. But today, the important part, we reviewed here a little bit, and we talked about storage. 3 major ways we store. Other terms we'll put with this. Where do we put these? Well, they could be locally. You could have a flash drive, a hard drive, DVD player. It can be in the cloud to the internet. We talked about it could be mass storage. There's large data centers gathering data everywhere. The government's doing that. Google, Amazon, all these places are doing that. Facebook. And you can have a storage area network. You can actually get a hard drive, and you can get a hard drive and actually plug that into your router. Might be a little work you have to do. And you can use that as a local storage area in your network. So all the people in your family can send their information to this hard drive to keep it. Now, don't think of that as a surefire backup, because if your house burns down, that burns with it. So if you're still going to back up, you've got to put it somewhere else. All right, slide 4. We're to input already. You use a keyboard, pointing device, touchpad, touchscreen. Is touchscreen popular? To say the least. Tablets and phones and so forth. Even a lot of laptops have a touch screen where you can touch the screen and so forth. Of course, we still have keyboards, a good way to type information in. We still have a mouse, pointing device. But we have these other ways too, and I'm not going to go into all the details. Then we talk about taking a picture of something like an image. You can have a scanner scan an image, or you can take a picture of an image with your phone. Okay, so there's lots of ways to get an image. We have barcode readers, like in retail. You know, all the products in the store go through that barcode reader, reads a barcode, and then that barcode is a number, and that number is used to access the data in the database and bring back the price or whatever. We spent a little time today, QR codes, those square-looking, funny-looking codes, and we showed how to create them, and we did some examples. They're really easy to create. I created one. I made a for sale sign for a car, and I had it on Craigslist, and then I had that QR code here, and a little other information here. And somebody could walk up to the car with their phone, click that QR code, it would take them right to Craigslist, which would give them all the information about the car. I didn't have to put my phone number on there, and so forth. It really works slick. I go to conferences where I present. I'll hand out one piece of paper, and on there somewhere will be some general information and then a barcode that takes everybody to either my PowerPoint or the website or somewheres, and you can just make those. We did that in class. Near field communications, these are really cool. This is some type of radio frequency. Could be RF. It could be some other frequencies. I'm not sure what they are, but it's really cool. They can make these. They make them out here at Metalcraft here in town. Did a little ad for them. They can make these plates that have these RF signals in them, and they can program those. And then you can read them with a device, maybe 20, 30 feet away. Cool example I saw is they have a big door where semis drive through the door, and they have these readers, and they'll read everything that's on the semi. Take an inventory of it, because they all have these codes in there. Really cool. There's ways to look at your face, your eyes, the shape of your face, in order to identify you or make that. We've seen where you can use your finger on some devices, to indicate you're going to use the device. I've seen laptops and phones and so forth use that. All right, 2 slides left. Display. Actually 3 slides. I fibbed. So we talk about output. Devices have displays, and they're typically made up of pixels, a whole bunch of dots to make our image on the screen. And how many dots we have, so many dots by so many dots to make that image on the screen, that's called the resolution. Okay. Screen size, usually measured diagonally. And then the graphics capabilities of your device. And there are a lot of different, when you talk to different people, in terms of monitors or displays for PCs and computers, there's a whole range in where you can spend more or less, get different sizes, different qualities. Don't discount how important this is, because you're looking at the display. You're looking at the display. We also talked about, it can be hard on your eyes if it's not a good display. We talked about the 2020. Every 20 minutes you should spend 20 seconds looking at something further away than your monitor. And if you're wondering how far to be from a monitor, if you can take, let's say, here's a person. You can take your arm, and your arm should be able to touch the monitor. That's how far away it should be. You should reach it out, and your arm and hand should just about touch the monitor. Shouldn't be really much closer or further away. How do you like my person here? It's a gal wearing a dress. Okay. We're almost done already. Did I say that already? Printers. Now remember to look this stuff up. On the outline. Don't just say, "Oh, Mr. Dirksen said pixels or dots." That's picture elements. And how many resolution. These things are important to get a full definition of. Laser printers are cool nowadays. You can get them color, black and white or some combination. They really produce great images on paper. Okay? Now they're a little more spendy than or a lot more spendy than an inkjet. But if you get an inkjet, you got to think of typically the ink cartridges are expensive. So it's really important to know how many copies you're going to produce with your printer. Okay? You might be better off spending a little more money for a laser printer. Like years ago, I bought a used laser printer in a weight room because we were going to print out these weightlifting items for the athletes, every so often, every so many weeks. And it was cheaper in the long run to replace the black and white ink toner for the laser than it would have been all of those ink cartridges for an inkjet. So it's way smarter buy, dollar-wise. Plotters like doing architectural drawings and so forth. They have a big piece of paper and plot on that. We had a printer here at the campus. I think the paper was 3 feet wide and it was on a spool. And you could make these huge banners. You could make them 20 feet long if you had enough on the spool. And it'd come out and they would plot onto that. The last thing here are these 3D printers. You can actually build 3D objects, and they spray across and actually build your object, whatever that might be. I'm building a cube, and it just paints layers and paints your layers in there until you get your object. Really cool. I mean, it's really neat for doing things like designing something and creating a prototype of it using a 3D printer. Alright, I'm going to pause. Alright, so I'm back. Had to take a phone call. One more slide. Yep. Audio. In and out. In class we used the example of the Dot by Amazon, or the, is it called Echo, I believe? Alexia. You talk to them, you get the little device and you sit there and you talk to it and then it talks back. There you got audio input and audio out. Okay? And you've noticed a lot more on our phones. So you can text using audio. You can do a number of things with voice recognition. It's really good. And even the recognition by cameras, on cars and devices and so forth, is really getting good. Alright, so that finishes the details for today.